Okay, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll let Kurt open up with his opening statement, followed by questions. Kurt, go ahead.
Yeah, disappointed. Difficult ending tonight for us. A game that we had within our grasp, obviously late, and just you got to give them credit for all their hustle plays, all those extra opportunities they had in those couple possessions when they needed it most, and they executed better than us in the crunch time. And the players, tons of accountability in that locker room have just been phenomenal. And they know it was a learning lesson. They know that they have to hold each other accountable in that situation. So, proud of the leadership coming out of this. Tough way at times to learn in basketball, but, sometimes you need these kind of lessons, or it will happen again sometime down the line.
Thank you, Kurt. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Alexa, we'll begin with you.
Hi, Kurt. What did Minnesota do that made it really hard for you guys to get going in the paint, especially, just after the first quarter when you guys had done really well? It seemed like they were just really able to keep you guys out of your game in that element.
Yeah, they were really physical, Alexa. They were the more physical team. We had trouble getting post touches. There was a lot of congestion on rolls. So they just made, they made it really difficult around the basket. And at times when we moved the ball more, it opened up, but we just at times got stagnant, couldn't play through the paint as much as we'd like. And again, we missed some wide open threes that we're really capable of making. One or two of those are the difference in the game.
Rafiq?
What do you think that the defense could have done a little bit more to prevent these late surge by the Minnesota Lynx?
Yeah, Rafiq, I thought, I thought their execution, I thought the little things, their screening angles, their ability to get extra possessions in crunch time, they got the ball in their places better than we got the ball in our places.
Other questions for Kurt? Charlotte, followed by Jacqueline.
Hey, Kurt, I know movement happens all the time in the league, but just the debut for Aisha today and just what she was able to do for the Lynx and just having to face her in her first game.
Yeah, obviously made a huge difference. Yeah, I felt very early in the game that we were struggling at times. I thought she was manipulating. She had the best plus minus for them early in the first half. I felt even though she wasn't scoring at halftime, Lasia was a concern. And again, the unintended consequences, right? They have an injury to Aerial Powers. They have an injury to Davis. It allows them to bring in an extra player. They bring in a true point guard, and they really helped them tonight.
Jacqueline?
Hey, Kurt, could you talk a little bit about just the rebounding effort tonight, especially in that last play where Minnesota had a couple offensive rebounds to send it into overtime? Do you think it was more of an energy thing or an execution thing?
Yeah, you got to credit them for hustles, though sometimes the ball just bounces the wrong way. But we're exhausted. We've played the most road games in the league. We've played 8 games. We're in a stretch where we will play 7 games in 14 days, flying coast to coast, COVID testing, typically before 7 a.m. every day. And that means you're traveling from somewhere to do COVID testing before 7 a.m. It needs to be done for this league to survive and have a season. But what we're asking these players to do is beyond me. It's bubble season on steroids, and it's just we will eventually get to our break, but we were in a brutal stretch, and we were really tired, and it's unfortunate we didn't come away with a win because we worked so hard, but we are absolutely exhausted. I don't know what we're going to have in the tank for Tuesday.
And Kurt, one last question for you. I know it's a hard way to lose tonight, but are there any positives that you take away from the game?
Yeah, I mean, this is a, bona fide, right? Championship contender going into the season that was hungry for their first win. And it has always been one of the tougher places to play in the league. So for us to know that it slipped through our fingers to come away with a victory tonight, again, is a credit to our players that we're putting ourselves in position to win every night. We haven't lost a regulation game yet. We're 6-2 with 2 overtime losses. So, really, really pleased with where we're at. But, this is one of the preseason favorites that we had absolutely on the ropes, and let it slip away.
Gabby?
Hey, Kurt. I wanted to follow up on the, feeling tired and exhausted. Understandably, there's a lot more exhaustion to come in this season. But how do you advocate for your players when from the outside looking in, we're starting to see fans, we're starting to see that normalcy, and then just reminding the people from the outside looking in that this still isn't a normal season, and advocating for your players and reminding people that there's a lot more that goes into getting this league to play?
Yeah, we will continue to try to explain, everything these players are going through to be able to put a product on the court. People want to say they're just playing basketball, but if you looked at our daily schedule and what we're going through, it's just amazing. The amount of games in a short period of time, traveling from coast to coast. I mean, our one day off was flying from Seattle to Boston, driving home, having a bus have an engine failure, sitting in a rest area. And I mean, our entire one day off was an entire travel day. And then you play, and then you have to travel to Minnesota and, practice and test in the morning before you leave. And then you play again. And then tomorrow we'll be right back at it. We'll be testing at 6 in the morning. We'll be off to the airport before 6 in the morning. And you got to come home and you got to go right to the gym to prepare for the preseason favorites. It just like, I hope the fans around the W understand what these players are going through. And it's the product that these 12 teams are putting on the floor when it's so hard to practice. It's crazy to think if we ever figured out how to provide time for these teams to practice, what our product would be like. Because that's pretty darn good basketball, considering we hardly ever get a chance to practice. It's pretty remarkable that they play this well.
I guess I asked that because I know when we get the players in front of us in a moment and we, bring that up, they're going to say, we're not tired. We're not, they're going to have that brave face on and definitely, have the answer that, they want to share with people, that they're not tired. Does that make you kind of want to make sure that you speak up in moments where they're going to be tough?
Yeah, for sure. And it's, this is, some other teams haven't had the start that we had on the road or the amount of games, but they will. And so we all know that everyone's going to go through it and how the schedule kind of breaks out. And it's really difficult. There's a lot of empathy and compassion, for these guys. We've played 8 games and we haven't had a stinker yet. We haven't laid an egg. We've really put ourselves in position to be 8-0, which is remarkable, considering what we've asked of them early in the year. And the fact that our starting lineup never practiced one day in training camp together. Not one day. It's just, I'm just, proud to be a part of this league, proud of what our players are doing, but they're not the only ones. This whole league is doing that.
Thank you.
Charlotte, you'll be the last question for Kurt.
Kurt, just to actually really quick follow up on that point of where you haven't laid an egg so far. where that goes the remainder of the season and just what you've kind of seen in those games and how impressed you've been that you haven't had those kind of moments of, even though there are the 2 losses, you've been in competitive state of play the entire time.
Yeah, it's a credit to the players of their preparation. We pride ourselves on our preparation. We feel that we're a scout heavy, if not the most scout heavy team in the league. So they're going to feel prepared out there. They're going to know what their opponents are trying to accomplish, what's their, what's their pillars, how they play both sides of the ball. And again, I think it's really helped. Since 2017, we've won the most regular season games of anyone. That is sustained success. We've won more games since 2017 than any other head coach in the league. And that's a credit to the players buying into our preparation. We're proud of this run we've had since 2017, that we go in each and every night fighting to compete and prepared to compete against the best teams throughout this league.
Thank you, Kurt. You're all set. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll open up to some questions for Dawana. Ned, we'll begin with you.
Evening, Dawana. You guys got off to one of your best starts in the first quarter, and then things offensively just bogged down. What were they doing to you? What were you guys doing to yourselves?
I think they sped us up a little bit with their pressure. But also I think we missed a lot of easy shots that we normally knock down. I guess we went on a minute there where we only scored like 2 points, I think, in the second quarter, but I feel like we were getting good shots, we just didn't knock them down. In the end, it came down to my rebound. We didn't secure the rebound, they hit a 3, and that changed things. So I definitely think we just missed some shots that we didn't, made credit to them. They sped us up on, offense, and I think we rushed it a little bit.
Thank you.
Rafiq.
What are some of the lessons that you learned when you're going up against those losing teams going forward for the rest of the season?
They're a great team. Their record don't represent what kind of team they are. Minnesota has been known to be, one of the top teams in the league. So we approach every game the same. So they came out, they got a win tonight on their home court. We'll see them again down the road, but they're a great team.
Alexa.
Hey, Dawana. Kurt was just telling us how he thinks just the schedule that you guys have had, it's so front loaded with so many games. You guys have been traveling a lot. Hasn't been easy for you all. And so I'm just curious from a player's perspective, what that.
This is probably one of the toughest schedules I've played, in a while. Coming off West Coast, sure, we had one day home and then had the clouds in Minnesota, but we can't use that as an excuse to why we, lost this game. This is how the WNBA schedule is, but yeah, it's tough, but we still should have came out and won this game.
Thank you.
Other questions for Dawana? Okay, you're all set. Thank you. Okay, everyone, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions for Jasmine. Ned, we'll begin with you.
Howdy, Jazz. You guys started off tonight with one of your best quarters of the season, and then the offense just wasn't there anymore. What were they doing to you? Maybe that's been different from what you've seen this year, and what were you guys doing to yourselves?
They were bringing a lot of help and a lot of attention to the paint on our bigs, which is something that we can expect to see, game after game. And we had some open shots, some good looks that usually go in, that didn't go in tonight. We also kind of needed to slow down in some actions and really take our time to hunt our best shot that we wanted. But I think the biggest thing was just rebounding. We have been had a lot of pride in how we were rebounding the ball the last few games, and got out rebounded by 10, it looks like today. So especially late, that was what was important.
Thank you, Jazz.
Rafiq.
What are some of the lessons that you learned when you're facing all these winnable games down the road of the season?
I mean, just exactly that, lessons, learning how to win. Like I said, rebounding was the thing tonight. Other games, it might be something different. Once you look at the film, you can kind of get a better idea for exactly what's happening. Hard to always see it in real time. But we felt like we could have won this one. We let it get away from us, and we felt like it was in our control to win. So moving forward, we have a quick turnaround. That's kind of how playoffs are too. And you look down the road, games like these allow you to win tight games in playoffs.
Jacqueline?
Hey, Jazz, could you just talk a little bit about just what was not happening or working out on the defensive end, especially in that fourth quarter and going into overtime?
I really think it felt like rebounding. I don't know if I'm putting too much of emphasis on that because that's just how I felt in that moment. But I think in one possession, they got like 3 straight 3-point attempts off of long rebounds that we didn't get. I'll also say maybe a few miscommunications, maybe. They're going to pound the still late. That's what she does. She's dominant in that paint. We had some foul trouble. Couldn't be as aggressive as we wanted to. We just needed to lock in more. We pride ourselves in getting 3 stops in a row. And, we didn't quite do that down the stretch.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jazz? Okay, thank you so much. You're all set. Okay, we will go ahead and open it up to questions for JJ. Ned, we'll begin with you.
Evening, JJ. Rebounding has been one of your strengths so far this season. It's helped you get out to a 6-2 start. What were they doing to you guys tonight to keep you off the boards?
A lot of people in the paint. I rolled, it was either the guard from the corner or the post player that was low, and they were just there. Like they wanted to emphasize, I guess, making sure that they covered me and didn't let me have the freedom of movement. So they were just there.
Was it more bodies than you guys have seen so far this season?
I think DC did the same thing. I think it's becoming a formula to play against us, so we have to be used to it. We have to get used to it. We have to learn how to play out of it and use it to our advantage. But DC was probably the other team that really did it against us, so I'm expecting it to be a thing moving forward.
Thank you, JJ.
No problem.
Rafiq?
The very next game, you're going to be going up against Las Vegas Aces, and Liz Cambridge had like 13 rebounds. What are some of the things you plan to do to straighten out the rebounding struggles you've had in tonight's loss?
I think it's a game thing. Like it happened today, we'll be better. We'll move forward. Just got to be better on the glass and just understand that teams are going to come and try to be extremely physical with me and just be rebounding. So just got to be ready for it.
Alexa?
Hey, JJ. Kurt and even Joanna were talking a little bit about just how tough this stretch has been with so many games, so many road games, the COVID testing schedule. What's it been like for you just to have such a front-loaded schedule and have, I guess, one more game before you get in a few more days of practice and rest?
Yeah, honestly been brutal. I'm not making excuses. We lost because Minnesota played better than us tonight, but like I'm waking up every day and I'm feeling aches and pains because it's been a lot of games. So looking forward to the day off, but before then, we got to handle Vegas. But this has been tough, and I'm proud of this team. The 2 losses that we had, they could have went both ways. They could have went our way because it was a rebound tonight in Seattle. It was not starting the overtime properly. So things that we're going to learn from and grow from. But I think you put any other team in the league in this stretch and they don't come out with the results that we've come up with. So I'm excited about it. This team is going to be good. We're okay. Like we're not imploding. We're not overthinking. We're just going to get better from these experiences.
Thanks, JJ.
No problem.
Jacqueline will be the last question for JJ. Oh, Charlotte, you can go as well.
Hey, JJ, I guess just following up on that a little bit, both of your losses have been in overtime games. So I guess, just are there any positive takeaways you take from tonight, especially, coming off, having that success off this, kind of brutal stretch?
Yeah, just that we can play with any team in this league. I think the Seattle game, it was kind of like the overtime was warranted, but this game, all we have to do is secure the ball and the game would have been over. We allowed them to stay in the game by just not getting rebounds and finishing the stop. So I think that was a big thing. And then obviously in overtime, I don't think we even got a stop. It was just, basket after basket. So I think the positives are that we can play with anybody, and that when we handle our business, most times we'll come out with a win. So I'm excited about it and ready to get back to it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Charlotte will be the last question for JJ.
Thanks, Annette. And hey, JJ. Actually, just wanted to follow up on, you said you can take any team in the league and they probably wouldn't have the same record as us. What, in your opinion, has made you guys so strong so quickly and just being able to get through and be so competitive?
I think the players that have been here I guess everybody is just used to the system. I think we play good basketball, we move the basketball. And so I think when you play that type of basketball, it allows everybody else to feel like they're involved and to want to play harder. A lot of times you watch a lot of other teams in the league and the ball just sticks a lot. And I think that's a recipe for disaster in a lot of cases. So for us, we move the ball. And I think a lot of times, like when we get into trouble is when we start just trying to go one-on-one too much and when we're not getting teams into the second action or reversing the ball. So I think that's the biggest thing is the chemistry, the trust that, when you're out there, you're going to touch the ball, that your teammates believe in you to make plays. So at the end of the day, we're excited about it. And like I said before, I'm ready to move forward and just play against Vegas.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, JJ. That concludes our availability for tonight.
Thank you, guys.
We will have practice tomorrow and availability then. I will send out the advisory later this evening.